The wedding invitation arrived on a Tuesday afternoon while Maya was doing her calculus homework at our kitchen table. Maya found it first, sitting in our stack of mail like it owned the place. "Mom, look," she called from the kitchen, her voice bright with excitement. Jennifer's wedding invitation came. I was in the living room folding laundry when she called out. Maya bounced in, holding the envelope like she'd won the lottery. "Can I open it?" she asked, already tearing at the seal before I could answer. That's Maya for you, 16 years old, and still excited about fancy paper and family celebrations. After everything she'd been through before I adopted her, she never lost that sparkle when it came to feeling included in something special. She spread the invitation across our coffee table, the one with the water ring from where her homework glass had sat every night. "Look how pretty this is. And it's at the Riverside Country Club. Jennifer's really going all out." I leaned over her shoulder to read it. "Jennifer Marie Stevens and Derek William Harrison request the honor of your presence. Cocktail reception at 6, dinner at 7, black tie optional." "We'll need to go shopping," Maya said, already planning. "I've been saving my babysitting money. Maybe I can finally get that navy dress we saw at Nordstrom Rack last month." My heart squeezed watching her face light up. Maya had been trying to win Jennifer's approval since the day I brought her home. My biological daughter had never quite warmed up to the idea of suddenly having a little sister, especially one who hadn't been born into our family. "Let me call Jennifer to confirm the details," I said, reaching for my phone. Jennifer answered on the second ring. "Mom, did you get the invitation just now? Maya's over the moon about it. She's already planning her outfit." There was a pause, a small one, but after 35 years of being Jennifer's mother, I could read volumes into her silences. "About that," Jennifer said carefully. "I need to talk to you about something." My stomach dropped. I'd heard that tone before, usually right before Jennifer delivered news I wouldn't like. "What is it, honey?" "Derek and I have decided the wedding should be just family and close friends. You know, keep it intimate. I'm sure you understand." I sat down heavily on my couch. "Family and close friends? Jennifer, what are you talking about? I mean, Maya can't come. She's not really family." "Mom, she's adopted." The words stopped me cold. I looked toward the kitchen where Maya was still admiring the invitation, probably imagining herself dancing at her big sister's wedding. "Did you just call my daughter not family?" "Your adopted daughter," Jennifer corrected. "And yes, that's exactly what she is. You adopted her because you were lonely and grieving, not because she's actually family. There's a difference." I closed my eyes, feeling something crumble around me. Jennifer Marie Stevens. I cannot believe what I'm hearing. Look, I'm not trying to hurt anyone's feelings, but Maya doesn't fit in with Derek's crowd. His parents are doctors, lawyers, business owners. What's Maya going to talk about? Her part-time job at the bookstore? Her community college plans? That did it. My voice went quiet in the way that used to make Jennifer nervous when she was little. Maya has a 4.22 GPA and just got early acceptance to Washington State University with a partial scholarship, I said. But you wouldn't know that because you've never bothered to ask about her achievements. That's not the point. What is the point, Jennifer? Explain to me why my daughter, who has lived in this family since she was 8, isn't welcome at your wedding. Because she's not really family. Jennifer's voice rose, all pretense of politeness gone. She's some random kid you picked up at the foster agency because you couldn't accept that Dad was dead, and I was grown up and living my own life. You replaced us with her. The cruelty of it took my breath away. Replaced you? You spend more time with her than you ever did with me. You go to her school events, help her with college applications, talk about her like she's some kind of miracle child. What about me? What about your real daughter? I thought about the monthly dinners Jennifer had been skipping for the past year. The phone calls that went unreturned. The way she rolled her eyes whenever Maya tried to engage her in conversation. Jennifer, you're 35 years old with a career and a fiancé. Maya is still in high school and needs guidance. That's not replacement. That's being a mother to 2 daughters at different life stages. Well, your other daughter isn't invited to my wedding. The invitations have already gone out. The seating chart is finalized. And Derek's parents specifically said they don't want strangers at such an intimate family celebration. Strangers. I repeated the word like it tasted bitter. You know what I mean? No, Jennifer. I don't think I do. Explain to me how Maya is a stranger. She's not a Stevens by blood. She's not Dad's granddaughter. She's just some kid with attachment issues who got lucky when you were feeling guilty about Dad dying. That was the line she shouldn't have crossed. Talking about Maya's early trauma, reducing her to some kid with attachment issues when Jennifer knew perfectly well what Maya had survived before finding safety in our home. I see, I said, my voice deadly calm. And have you discussed this with Derek? This policy about blood versus chosen family. Derek agrees completely. His family has very strong feelings about family traditions and bloodlines. They don't understand why you'd complicate things by adopting at your age. I stood up and walked to our mantel where photos of Maya's achievements lined the shelf next to pictures of Jennifer's childhood. Honor roll certificates, volunteer appreciation awards, the letter from WSU admissions. Jennifer, I want you to listen to me very carefully. If Maya isn't welcome at your wedding, then neither am I. Mom, don't be dramatic. This isn't about you. You're right. It's about Maya. It's about a little girl who lost her parents and spent years in foster care before I was blessed enough to become her mother. It's about someone who has spent years trying to earn the love of a sister who apparently sees her as a stranger. You're being ridiculous. She'll get over it. She'll get over it. I almost laughed. My daughter, who was planning to wear her first formal dress to her sister's wedding. She's not my sister. The words echoed through my living room. From the kitchen, I heard the rustle of paper stop. Maya had heard everything. Then I guess we have nothing more to discuss, I said quietly. Enjoy your wedding, Jennifer. I hung up and sat in the sudden silence of my house. After a moment, Maya appeared in the doorway, the invitation still in her hands, her face carefully blank in that way kids learn when they're trying not to cry. I heard. Wait, she said simply. I patted the couch beside me. She came over and curled up next to me, the way she used to when she first came home, and nightmares woke her up in the middle of the night. I'm sorry, baby girl. It's okay, she said. But her voice was too small. I kind of figured Jennifer didn't really want me there anyway. She never wants me anywhere. That broke my heart more than Jennifer's phone call had, because Maya was right. She'd been trying to win over a sister who had never given her a real chance. Maya, look at me. She turned those dark eyes toward me. The same ones that had been so scared and guarded when we first met at the social services office. What Jennifer said about you not being real family. That's not true. Not even a little bit. But she's right about the blood thing. I'm not really a Stevens. Sweetheart, you want to know what makes someone real family? She nodded. Real family shows up. Real family celebrates your victories and holds you through your defeats. Real family sees your worth even when the world tries to tell you you're not enough. I tucked a strand of her hair behind her ear. You've been more family to me than anyone else in my life. Really? Even after what she said? The question hung between us, loaded with years of hoping and trying and being disappointed. Jennifer is my daughter, and I love her, but she's chosen to see you as competition instead of a blessing. That's her loss, not yours. Maya leaned against my shoulder. Are you really not going to the wedding? Not if my daughter isn't welcome. But what if you regret it? What if she never forgives you? I thought about that. About Jennifer in her white dress, walking down the aisle without her mother there. About the family photos that would never include me. About the grandchildren I might never meet if this destroyed our relationship completely. Maya, sometimes standing up for what's right costs you something precious. But not standing up for what's right costs you something even more precious. Your integrity and self-respect. She was quiet for a long moment. Then what are we going to do instead? I smiled, feeling something settle in my chest. A decision made, a line drawn, a choice that felt scary and right at the same time. Well, that depends. What would you like to do on Saturday night? For the first time since the phone call, Maya smiled back. Something that doesn't require a fancy dress. Something that doesn't require proving we're good enough to be there. We sat together on our old couch in our modest living room, making plans for our own celebration. Outside, the Seattle spring rain tapped against our windows, but inside it felt warm and safe and exactly like home should feel. The next morning, my phone started ringing before I'd even had my coffee. Gloria, what on earth is going on? My sister Carol's voice came through the speaker, sharp and accusatory. Jennifer called me crying last night, saying, "You're refusing to come to her wedding." I set down my mug and walked to the window. Maya had already left for school, her backpack slung over her shoulder, acting like yesterday hadn't happened. but I could see the slight slump in her shoulders as she walked down our street. Did she tell you why I'm not coming? She said something about Maya feeling left out. But honestly, Gloria, sometimes you have to put your foot down with teenagers. They can't always get their way. I counted to 3 before answering. Carol, Jennifer told me Maya couldn't come to the wedding because she's not real family. Silence on the other end then. Well, technically what? I mean, she's not blood related, and Jennifer has a right to decide who comes to her own wedding. I pulled the phone away from my ear and stared at it. My own sister. Carol, Maya has been part of this family since she was 8. She calls you Aunt Carol. She sends you birthday cards. I know, and she's a sweet girl. But there's a difference between being polite to your sister's adopted child and treating her like actual family. Jennifer shouldn't have to pretend Maya is her real sister just to make you feel better about your choices. My choices, like loving a child who needed love, was some kind of character flaw. I see. And what do you think I should do? Apologize to Jennifer and go to the wedding alone? Maya will understand. She's used to disappointment. Used to disappointment. As if that made it acceptable to pile on more. No, Carol, I won't do that. Then you're being selfish and stubborn. This is Jennifer's day, not Maya's therapy session. I hung up on her. The phone rang again 20 minutes later. This time it was my nephew, Jason, Carol's son. Aunt Gloria, Mom asked me to call you. She thinks maybe you'll listen to me since I'm not as emotional about this. Jason was 28 and had always been sweet to Maya when they saw each other at family gatherings. I had hope for about 30 seconds. Look, I get that you're trying to protect Maya's feelings, but maybe this is actually a good teaching moment for her. You know, about how life isn't fair and she can't always be included in everything. A teaching moment? Yeah. I mean, she's had it pretty good with you, right? Nice house, good school, college fund. Maybe it's time she learned that adoption doesn't mean automatic acceptance everywhere. I sat down at my kitchen table, suddenly feeling every one of my 70 years. Jason, what if someone told you that your cousins couldn't come to your wedding because they weren't your real family? That's different. We grew up together. Maya has been in this family since she was 8. But she's not actually family. Aunt Gloria. I know that sounds harsh, but it's true. Jennifer doesn't owe her anything. After I hung up on Jason, I turned my phone off completely. I sat in my quiet kitchen watching the morning light move across the table where Maya did her homework every night, where she'd spread out Jennifer's wedding invitation yesterday with such joy. Around noon, someone knocked on my front door. I looked through the peephole and saw my other sister, Linda, standing on my porch with a casserole dish. I opened the door. Linda pushed past me into my living room. Gloria Marie Stevens, she said, setting the casserole on my coffee table. We need to talk about you destroying your relationship with your daughter over a child who isn't even yours. I closed the front door and leaned against it. Maya is mine, Linda, in every way that matters. No, she's not. Linda sat down on my couch right where Maya and I had curled up together last night. She's a foster child you got attached to. There's a difference. She's legally adopted. She's been my daughter since she was 8. Legally, yes. But blood is blood, Gloria. Jennifer is your real daughter. Maya is, well, she's your project. There was that word again. Project. Linda, get out of my house. She blinked, clearly not expecting that response. Gloria, I'm trying to help you see reason. Get out now. You're making a mistake that will cost you your real daughter forever. I walked to the front door and opened it. Leave. Linda stood up slowly, smoothing down her skirt. When this all falls apart and Maya breaks your heart like these kids always do, don't come crying to me. After she left, I deadbolted the door and sat down at Maya's homework spot at the kitchen table. I pulled out my phone and turned it back on. 17 missed calls, 12 text messages, all from family members telling me I was wrong, I was selfish, I was destroying Jennifer's happiness for someone who wasn't even mine. I deleted them all without reading most of them. That afternoon, Maya came home from school and found me still sitting at the kitchen table. Rough day? She asked, dropping her backpack by the door. You could say that. She opened the refrigerator and pulled out an apple. How many family members called to tell you I'm not worth missing Jennifer's wedding? The kid was too perceptive for her own good. A few. Maya bit into her apple and leaned against the counter. Want to know what happened at school today? Tell me. Kayla Rodriguez asked if I was excited about Jennifer's wedding. I told her I wasn't going. She asked why, so I told her the truth. You know what she said? I waited. She said that's messed up. And if her sister ever did that to her, she'd never speak to her again. Maya took another bite of apple. Then she said her family would never exclude someone just for being adopted because that's not how real families work. I smiled for the first time all day. Smart girl, that Kayla. She asked if we wanted to come to her family's barbecue on Saturday instead. They're celebrating her dad's promotion at work. What did you tell her? I said I'd ask you, but it sounded way better than sitting around feeling sorry for ourselves. Maya was right. It did sound better. Tell Kayla yes. We'd love to come. Maya grinned and headed toward her room to start homework. At the doorway, she turned back. Mom, thanks for picking me. Always, baby girl. Always. 3 days before the wedding, Derek called me directly. Mrs. Stevens, this is Derek Harrison. I think we need to clear the air. I was in my garden pulling weeds from around the tomato plants Maya and I had planted together last spring. The normalcy of it felt good after days of family drama. Clear what air, Derek? This misunderstanding about the wedding. Jennifer is beside herself. She wants you there. Obviously, we both do. I stood up, brushing dirt off my knees, but not Maya. Well, that's what I wanted to discuss. Maybe we can find a compromise. I walked toward my back porch, phone pressed to my ear. What kind of compromise? Maya could attend the ceremony, but not the reception. Or she could help with setup earlier in the day, something that includes her, but keeps the reception focused on our closest family and friends. The audacity was breathtaking. He wanted Maya to serve at an event she wasn't worthy to attend as a guest. Derek, let me ask you something. How many people are invited to your wedding? About 120. And out of those 120 people, how many are family? A pause. Maybe 30. 35. So, you're telling me that 90 strangers are more welcome at your wedding than my daughter, who has been part of this family since she was 8 years old. Those aren't strangers. They're friends, colleagues, people important to our lives. Important to your lives. But Maya isn't. Mrs. Stevens, this isn't about Maya personally. She seems like a lovely girl, but she's not Jennifer's sister by blood. This is about family legacy, about tradition. I sat down on my porch steps, watching a neighbor walk his dog down our quiet street. Normal people living normal lives where children weren't ranked by their DNA. Derek, what's your mother's maiden name? Excuse me? Your mother's maiden name. Humor me, Thompson. Why? So when your mother married your father, she stopped being a Thompson and became a Harrison. Did that make her less family? That's completely different. Is it? She wasn't born a Harrison. She chose to become one through marriage. Maya chose to become a Stevens through adoption. What's the difference? Marriage is between adults who understand commitment. Adoption is different. Different how? Look, I'm trying to find a solution here. Jennifer loves you and wants you at the wedding, but my family has certain expectations about these events. I stood up and walked back toward my garden. The tomatoes needed staking, and Maya would be home soon to help me with that. Derek, I appreciate the call, but there's no compromise that involves treating my daughter like second-class family. She's either welcome as my daughter, or she's not welcome at all. And if she's not welcome, neither am I. You're being unreasonable. I'm being a mother. Jennifer said you'd say that. She also said to tell you that if you miss her wedding, you'll regret it for the rest of your life. I looked at my garden, at the vegetables Maya and I would harvest together in a few months. At the life we'd built that was full of people who chose to love us. Derek, tell Jennifer that I've been regretting things for a long time. I regret not standing up for Maya sooner. I regret letting the family treat her as less than. I regret every time I stayed quiet when someone made her feel unwelcome. I paused, watching a butterfly land on one of our sunflowers. But I won't regret standing up for her now. So that's it. You're really not coming? That's it. After I hung up, I sat in my garden until Maya came home from school. She found me there, cross-legged between the tomato rows, just thinking. Rough call? She asked, sitting down beside me. Derek tried to offer you a compromise. You could attend the ceremony, but not the reception. Maya snorted. Gee, how generous. I get to watch Jennifer get married, but not eat the cake. I told him no. Good. Maya picked up a small stone and tossed it toward the fence. You know what I realized today? What's that? I keep trying to make Jennifer love me, but I can't make someone choose me. They either do or they don't. She looked at me with those wise eyes that had seen too much too young. But you chose me every single day for 8 years. That's worth more than 100 people who share my DNA but don't share my life. I reached over and took her hand. When did you get so smart? I had a good teacher. Saturday morning dawned clear and bright. wedding weather people call it. Maya and I spent the day at Kayla's family barbecue, surrounded by people who welcomed us without question, who asked Maya about her college plans and told her how proud they were of her accomplishments. Kayla's father, Miguel, pulled me aside while the kids were playing volleyball in the backyard. "My wife told me about what happened with your family," he said quietly. "I wanted you to know that what you did for your daughter takes real courage. I just did what any mother would do." "No," he said firmly. "You did what any good mother should do. There's a difference." As the sun set and we drove home, Maya was quiet in the passenger seat. "Regrets?" I asked. "About missing the wedding?" "No." She turned to look at me. "But I am sad about Jennifer. I always hoped." "I know, baby girl. I hoped too. Do you think she'll ever change her mind?" I thought about that as we pulled into our driveway, our little house glowing with the porch light I'd remembered to leave on. "I think Jennifer will have to decide what kind of person she wants to be and what kind of family she wants to have. We can't make that choice for her." Maya nodded and headed inside to start her homework. I stayed in the car for a moment, looking at our house, thinking about the life we'd built together. Not perfect, but ours. Not traditional, but full of love. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Probably someone from the wedding, I thought. But when I opened it, I saw a photo of Jennifer in her wedding dress, beautiful and radiant, surrounded by people who'd never once questioned her worth. The text was from my cousin Rita. "She looked for you during the ceremony. I thought you should know." I deleted the message and went inside where Maya was already at the kitchen table with her calculus book. The same spot where this whole thing had started just a week ago. "How's homework going?" "Good, I'm almost done." She looked up at me. "Mom, what do you think happens next?" "I don't know," I said honestly. "But I know we'll figure it out together." And for the first time in a week, that felt like enough. The following Wednesday, I drove to Riverview Cemetery. Richard's grave sat under the old oak tree he'd picked out himself, back when we thought we had all the time in the world to make plans like that. I brought fresh daffodils, his favorites, and sat down on the little bench I'd had installed last year. Maya had helped me pick it out, insisting we get one with a back so I'd be comfortable during my visits. "Richard," I said, arranging the flowers in the metal vase, "we've got ourselves a situation." The spring breeze rustled through the oak leaves, and for a moment, I could almost hear his laugh. He'd always said Jennifer got her stubborn streak from me, not him. Looked like he was right. Your daughter has decided Maya isn't family. She says she's just my project, my way of dealing with grief. I touched his headstone, the granite warm from the afternoon sun. "You remember what you used to say about love? How it doesn't divide, it multiplies?" I touched his headstone again, the granite warm from the afternoon sun. "You said that when Jennifer was little, and I worried about having enough attention for both work and family." He'd been sitting in his favorite chair, the one that faced our back garden. Maya would have loved that garden. We'd talked about putting in a swing set, maybe a sandbox. "You said love doesn't divide, it multiplies." You were right then, and you'd be right about Maya too. I smiled, remembering how he'd always believed in our capacity to love more, not less. "You would have loved her, Richard. She has your same stubborn streak when it comes to doing what's right." A cardinal landed on the headstone, bright red against the gray stone. Richard always said cardinals were good luck. "Well, she's not so little anymore, and she's got more wisdom in her 16 years than your 35-year-old daughter has managed to collect." I watched the cardinal hop closer to the flowers. Maya knows what family means. Jennifer seems to have forgotten. I sat there for a while longer, just listening to the quiet. When I finally got up to leave, I knew what I had to do. At home, I went straight to the hall closet and pulled down the photo albums from the top shelf. 8 years of Maya's life with us, documented in pictures, school papers, and little mementos I'd saved. I spread everything out on the dining room table, the one we only used for special occasions. This felt special enough. Maya's first day in our house, age 8, clutching a garbage bag full of clothes and looking like she expected to be sent away at any moment. The photo from her first Christmas morning with us, buried under wrapping paper, that huge grin on her face. Her elementary school graduation, middle school honor roll certificates, the letter from her high school counselor recommending her for early college courses. Pictures from family gatherings where Maya gradually moved from the edges of photos to the center. Birthday parties, Thanksgiving dinners, summer barbecues. In the early photos, she stood apart, not quite sure she belonged. By year 3, she was front and center, arm around whoever was next to her. I found the photo from Jennifer's college graduation. Maya, about 10 years old, holding a homemade congratulations sign she'd stayed up all night making. Jennifer had barely acknowledged it at the time, too busy posing with her friends. There was Maya at 11, learning to drive our old lawnmower so she could help me with yard work. Maya at 12 making me soup when I had the flu, following a recipe she'd looked up online. Maya at 13 winning the school science fair with a project about sustainable gardening. Each photo told the same story. This wasn't a project or a charity case. This was a child who'd made herself indispensable through love, effort, and sheer determination to belong. I found my craft supplies and started arranging everything on a large poster board. Not fancy, just organized timeline style, showing Maya's growth and integration into our family year by year. At the top, I wrote, Maya Stevens, 8 years of family. Below that, in smaller letters, real family isn't about DNA, it's about showing up. I was still working when Maya came home from school. She dropped her backpack and stared at the dining room table covered in memories. "What's all this?" she asked, picking up a photo of herself from her first Christmas with us, age 8, looking overwhelmed by all the presents under our tree. "Evidence of who you really are, sweetheart," I said, gluing down a certificate from her volunteer work at the animal shelter. "Sometimes people need reminders." Maya sat down next to me, studying the collage I was creating. "This is for Jennifer. This is for anyone who needs to understand what family looks like." She picked up a photo from her 13th birthday. All of us gathered around our kitchen table. Even Jennifer was there that year, actually smiling as Maya blew out her candles. "We look happy," Maya said quietly. We were happy. We are happy, but not all of us. I glued down a report card with straight A's, then a photo of Maya helping me plant our vegetable garden. "Maya, some people only know how to love with conditions. Your grades have to be good enough. Your background has to be acceptable enough. Your DNA has to match theirs. That's not love. That's approval. What's the difference?" I stopped what I was doing and looked at her. "Love says I choose you no matter what. Approval says I'll accept you if you meet my requirements. Love is what you and I have. Approval is what Jennifer's offering, and only to people who pass her tests." Maya nodded slowly, running her finger along the edge of a photo from her first school play. "Jennifer hadn't come to that one either. Are you going to show this to her?" "I'm going to show this to everyone who matters, starting with the people at her wedding who need to understand why we weren't there." "Will it change anything?" I thought about that, looking at 8 years of evidence spread across my dining table. Pictures of a child who'd transformed from scared and guarded to confident and loving. Pictures of a family that had grown stronger by choosing each other. "It might not change Jennifer," I said honestly, "but it'll change how people see the situation, and sometimes that's enough." Maya picked up a photo from last month. The two of us at her college interview, both beaming because she'd just been accepted with a scholarship. "Mom, even if it doesn't change anything with Jennifer, I'm glad you're doing this." "Why?" "Because it feels good to see it all laid out like this, like proof that I really do belong here." She looked at me with those wise eyes. "Thank you for being that someone." I reached over and squeezed her hand. "Always. Baby girl, always." We worked together until dinner time, organizing 8 years of memories into a story that spoke for itself. 2 weeks after the wedding, Jennifer called. "Mom, we need to talk. I was watering the tomatoes Maya and I had staked yesterday. The garden was coming along nicely this year." "About what, Jennifer?" "People have been asking questions about why you weren't at the wedding. It's becoming uncomfortable." I turned off the hose and sat down on our back porch steps. "What kind of questions?" "Well, Derek's aunt cornered me at the country club yesterday. She wanted to know if we'd had some kind of family emergency that kept you away." Jennifer's voice got tighter. I had to explain the situation. "How did you explain it?" I told her the truth. That you chose to make a point about Maya instead of supporting me on my wedding day. I watched a butterfly land on our sunflowers. The same kind that had visited when Derek called. "And what did Derek's aunt say to that?" Silence. Then she asked why Maya couldn't come if she's been your daughter for 8 years. What did you tell her? I said it was complicated. That adoption is different from biological family, and we wanted to keep things simple. I stood up and walked back toward my garden. The tomatoes were getting heavy on their vines. Jennifer, did Derek's aunt seem satisfied with that explanation? Another pause. No. She said it sounded cruel to exclude a child from family celebrations. Then she walked away. I see. Mom, this is exactly what I was trying to avoid. People are judging us. They're making me out to be some kind of villain for wanting my own wedding to be perfect. I knelt down and pulled a few weeds from around the pepper plants. Maya would be home soon to help me harvest some vegetables for dinner. Jennifer, what do you want from me? I want you to help me fix this. Call Derek's family. Explain that you're not angry about Maya not being invited. Tell them it was a mutual decision to keep things adults only. I sat back on my heels, dirt on my hands, sun warm on my shoulders. I can't do that. Why not? Because it wouldn't be true. Mom, please. Derek's parents are influential people. This could hurt his career if the wrong story gets around. What's the wrong story, Jennifer? That we excluded Maya because she's adopted. That we're prejudiced against adoptive families. I stood up and brushed the dirt off my knees. But that is what you did. It's not that simple, is it? Jennifer was quiet for a long moment. When she spoke again, her voice was smaller. I didn't think it would be such a big deal. Maya's just a kid. Kids get over things. Maya isn't just a kid, Jennifer. She's your sister. And she's been your sister for 8 years. She's not my sister, Jennifer said, but with less conviction than before. Then what is she? She's your daughter. That's different. I walked back toward the house, phone pressed to my ear. Through the kitchen window, I could see the memory board I'd made, propped against the counter where Maya and I had left it. Jennifer, do you remember the Christmas when Maya was 10? She made you that photo album for your birthday. Vaguely, she spent weeks on it. Pictures of the two of you from every holiday and family gathering. She was so excited to give it to you. I remember saying thank you. Do you remember what you did with it? Silence. You put it on a shelf in your closet. Maya asked me a month later if you'd looked at it. I told her you probably kept it somewhere safe. I was busy with work and she made you a card every birthday until she was 14. Drew pictures of things she thought you'd like. Wrote little notes about memories she wanted to share with you. Mom, where is this going? I'm trying to help you understand what you threw away when you decided Maya wasn't worth a seat at your wedding. Jennifer was quiet for a long time. When she spoke again, her voice was strained. I can't undo the wedding. Mom, it's done. But I need you to help me manage the fallout. There's nothing to manage, Jennifer. You made a choice. Now you get to live with how people react to that choice. So, you're just going to let people think I'm some kind of monster? I looked at the memory board through my kitchen window. 8 years of Maya growing up, fitting in, becoming part of our family while Jennifer watched from the sidelines. I'm not going to let people think anything. If they ask me why I wasn't at your wedding, I'll tell them the truth. Maya wasn't invited because she's adopted. And I don't attend celebrations where my daughter isn't welcome. Mom, please. Jennifer, I love you. But I can't help you rewrite history to make yourself feel better about hurting Maya. After I hung up, I sat on my porch and waited for Maya to come home from school. When she did, she found me there with 2 glasses of iced tea. Rough call, she asked, settling down beside me. Jennifer wants me to tell people the wedding invitation thing was mutual. Maya snorted. Yeah, right. Because I totally wanted to be excluded from my sister's wedding. She's worried about what people are saying. What are they saying? That it was cruel to exclude you. Maya was quiet for a moment, sipping her tea. Do you think she regrets it? I think she regrets the consequences. Whether she regrets the choice itself, I don't know. There's a difference, a big one. We sat together in comfortable silence, watching the evening light move across our small backyard. Our garden was thriving. Our house felt peaceful, and we had each other. It was enough, more than enough. Mom, Maya said eventually. Yeah? I'm glad you didn't let her rewrite the story. Me too, baby girl. Me too. 3 months later, I got a letter from Derek's mother. She'd heard the full story from her sister, Derek's aunt, and wanted to apologize. She'd had no idea Maya had been excluded specifically because she was adopted. She included a college fund contribution for Maya and an invitation to tea. Jennifer never called to follow up on our conversation, but word travels fast in social circles, and according to my cousin Rita, the story of the bride who excluded her adopted sister from her wedding, had become cautionary tale material among the country club set. Sometimes standing up for what's right doesn't change the person who hurt you, but it does change how the world sees the situation. And sometimes that's exactly the kind of change that matters most. Maya graduated high school with honors that spring. The auditorium was packed with people who loved her. Teachers, friends, neighbors, Derek's aunt and her family, even some of Jennifer's old friends who'd heard the story and wanted to show their support. Jennifer wasn't there, but Maya didn't seem to notice. She was too busy celebrating with the family that had shown up. By the time we were done, the poster board told a story that would be hard for anyone to ignore. Not the story of a troubled kid who got lucky, but the story of a daughter who'd earned her place through love. Let us know in the comment, where are you watching from? Please subscribe to the channel Her Side of the Story. Thanks for watching until here.